Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Weightlifting House news show, the only weightlifting news show in the world. So we'll kick things off as is tradition with Team China from a video that came out from the squat jerk journalist of Li Fei Bin, the world record holder in the 61 kilo class in the snatch and total. Of course, he's done 145 in the snatch, 318 in the total, with the most impressive back squat that we saw this week. Now, almost 4 times body weight. Of course, he's 61 kilos and he just hit 240 kilos in the back squat. I think last week I posted a video of him power snatching 120, maybe 125, but 240 shows that he's not just an incredible snatch, he's also incredibly strong in the legs too. Shenzhen Weightlifting posted a video this week of the world record holder in the total in the 67 kilo class, Chen Lijun, hitting an incredibly easy 180 kilo clean and jerk. Now, the world record currently sits at 188 by Pak Jong-ju from North Korea, but this 180 kind of shows that Chen Lijun certainly has a lot more, and he has done more. I mean, back when he was a 62 kilo lifter, he hit 183 kilos. And of course, he's actually done 187 kilos in competition in the new 67 kilo class, but it was just taken away by Pak Jong-ju moments later. Chen Lijun is a 6-time world record holder, is a 4-time world champion, and he actually has the second highest Sinclair ever from Team China. If you know who has the highest, leave a comment down below. Next we have from Liu Xiaojun Barbell, a friend and teammate of Liu Xiaojun. It's Tian Tao, one of the greatest squatters in the world. He just hit 270 kilos for a set of 7. Now, I'm not sure if this video is old, but even so, it just got posted. He said apparently that he could do a set of 10 at 270 kilos, but last time he did something approximating 10 reps, his legs ached for a week and he was barely able to walk. And as it stands right now, I mean, Tian Tao, his legs are strong enough to clean significantly over the world record, so he doesn't need to put a tremendous amount of work into strengthening them even more. I mean, you can see here, if you're watching the show, a 230 kilo clean and jerk attempt as an 85. So this is from 2015. At the time, 11 kilos over the world record. It was 219. Of course, this is before Keenush hit 220 at the Fajir Cup in 2016 for the world record. But his legs are easily strong enough, and this 270 for 7 really shows that. Over in Korea, 102 kilo lifter Jin Yun Song, one of my favorite weightlifters to watch these days, hit 140 kilos for a pause power snatch double. And he just has so much ferocity when he lifts. He came second at the World Championships this year, but took the gold medal in the snatch at the World Champs in the 102 class. And he currently sits top 8 in the 102s, but of course it's not an Olympic category. In the 109s, he sits in 12th. Now, if you remove guys like Yang Zi, Rodion Bochkov, Timur Naniev from Russia, he moves up to the 9th position, which is of course the highest in Asia outside of the top 8, but the problem is he sits behind his teammate Kisam Jeong, who has 80 more Rowdy points from him, so there's a very good chance we're not going to see Jin Yun Song at the Olympics. Sticking with Korea, let's head over for maybe just one last time. I feel like her streak has to end soon. It's 16-year-old Park Hye-jeong with a 230 kilo back squat triple. Last week she did 200 for 8, the week before 240 for 2, now 230 for 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 250 for 1 before the end of this streak. Across in Japan, 67 kilo Mitsunori Kona hit 180 kilos for a block clean. He's always been one of my favorite to watch, just his depth and speed. This is now just 8 kilos under the world record of 188 kilos. He also this week did some really crazy core stuff using a rack, kind of walking through the air, a little bit throwback to the old calisthenic days of YouTube. He then went on to hit a rack hold at 280 kilos. Now, considering his body weight, he's a 67, but he said that his body weight is 69.7, so he's a couple kilos over. This is over 4 times his body weight for a front rack hold. Now, once in the 67 class, once Qinfu Lin and Huang Minhao are removed from the list, because of course China has 3 athletes in the top 8 right now, they're going to leave Chen Lijun in there presumably. Mitsunori then suddenly moves up into the top 8, which means that he's probably going to go to the Olympics. He still needs to get in the 6th competition, but he could basically just weigh in at the Asian Championships and he would fulfill the criteria. And lastly from Japan, we have Toshiki Senpai, aka Toshiki Yamamoto, with some block power clean and jerks moving into block clean and jerks. Now he power clean and jerks up to 180 kilos, and then he full clean and jerks 190 kilos. Toshiki has actually moved up from the 89 class to the 96 kilo class in the hopes of qualifying for the Olympics, which he's in a pretty good position to do at the moment. Recently he hit 230 kilos for a block clean, which, you know, as an 89 I thought that this was 13 kilos over the world record, but actually it turns out to just be a kilo under the world record as a 96. But even so, these powers at 180 and that block 230 shows just what kind of leg strength Toshiki has. Okay, so let's get into one of the things that I really wanted to talk about this week, and that's Moradi and his chances of qualifying for the Olympics. Now, many of you know Moradi is the 2016 Olympic champion, multiple-time world champion, world record holder in the snatch, clean and jerk, and total in 2 weight classes, the 94s and the 96s. A video was posted from his training this week of a 200 kilo clean and jerk. He misses it one time and he makes it on the other, not for lack of strength in his legs in the clean or his back strength, just some wobbliness in the shoulder that he recently injured. But let's go through his situation right now. So of course, to qualify for the Olympics you need 6 competitions, at least 1 in each of the 3 qualifying periods, and you take the top 4 and you work out who goes based on that. Now, Moradi in the period 1 hit huge world records, 186, 230, and he secured an enormous 1,204 Rowdy points. Then in period 2, he was injured. He went to the Challenge 210 that I was at in Switzerland, and he only got 90 Rowdy points, which is obviously a fraction of the 1,204 that he got from the previous period. Now, he did that with just an 80 kilo snatch and a 120 kilo clean and jerk. So at this point, he's only sitting on around 1,300. In period 3, with a 163.207 performance, he received 807 Rowdy points. So he still needs 1 more competition, because he only has 3 competitions that have a total. He needs a 4th. He's sitting in 54th place at the moment in the 96s with 2,137 Rowdy points. So let's say that he needs to overtake Toshiki Yamamoto, which in my opinion is a pretty good trade, for the highest points in the Asian continent after the top 8 have been removed. That means he needs 1,275 more points. That's more than he got from his 186 230 world record setting competition. So to do that, he would probably need something like 187 snatch, 232 clean and jerk. So that's going to be tough, but what I realized is there are a couple of random competitions coming up in the IWF calendar. Things like, you know, the Venezuelan Indoor Open Invitational Throwdown or something weird like that. So maybe if he goes to one of those and he replaces his 807 Rowdy points that he just got with 950 Rowdy points, he could then only need, you know, maybe 1,125 at the Asian Championships with the 10% Rowdy point bonus, and suddenly he could actually end up getting into that position. So Moradi is not out of contention. There are ways that he can do it, whether that's through 2 more competitions or just 1 more incredible world record setting one at the Asian Championships. There is a chance that Sarab can go. Kianush, on the other hand, no chance. Okay, let's stick with Team Iran for a little bit longer because we had some other really awesome lifts. The first one from Ali Mohammadpour. So he hit 200 kilos for a clean plus hang clean. Of course, he's a super heavyweight. He's relatively young though still, and the speed with which he stands up these cleans is just remarkable. There's actually a video of him also doing some 300 kilo back squats for some very fast reps. But 200 for a clean plus hang clean, great lift from Ali Mohammadpour. Next we have the 109 kilo lifter Ali Reza Soleimani, who hit 200 kilos for a power clean and power jerk. Now, of course, he does the classic, the traditional Iranian starfish when he goes for the power, but even so, phenomenal lifting for him for a 109 to be power cleaning 200 kilos. Maybe he's the future of that 109 class after guys like Ali Hashemi and Kia Gadami turn their weightlifting cards in. And finally, from Iran, we have a guy who I would consider maybe even a friend of mine, maybe just an acquaintance. We have 109 kilo Mattie Jafarzadeh, who actually was weighing 102 at the time of this lift, but Mattie just hit 175 kilos in the snatch, and it looked great. Moving over to Kazakhstan, and we haven't really spent much time in Kazakhstan over the last month. Other than the few juniors who are doing really well, Team Kazakhstan is certainly on the ropes. But we have Saikan Tasayev, the 67 kilo 2019 youth world champion, who at the World Championships, he hit 127 in the snatch, 161 in the clean and jerk for a 288 total. He's also actually won gold at the Asian Youth and Junior Championships too. Well, this week he posted a bit of a compilation of some of his biggest lifts from the last month or so. So we saw a 130 kilo block snatch. That's already 3 kilos over the number he hit to become the 2019 Youth World Champ. He hit 130 kilos again, but this time from the floor. He then hit 140 kilos. That's 13 kilos over the competition PR. And perhaps more impressively, back in April, and I don't know how I missed this on the news show, he hit a clean and jerk at 180 kilos. That's just 8 kilos under Pak Jong-ju's world record of 188. And considering he was born in 2002, so he's either 17 or 18 right now, just remarkable from him. Okay, so next we have the most heartwarming video from the podcast so far. It's David Bedzanian, the 2014 world record holder, one of the greatest weightlifters of whom there is almost no footage, and he posted a real gem this week. Now, I assume this is old. I don't think he's competing at the moment, but it was of a 230 kilo front squat plus jerk. Now, for those of you who don't remember, David Bedzanian, he was a 105. He hit a new world record in the clean and jerk at 240 moments after Ruslan Nuradinov hit 239, and it was moments prior to Ilya hitting the 242. So he's one of the great clean and jerkers of the last few years. 230 for a front squat plus jerk just shows how damn strong he was in the clean and jerk. Never quite the best snatcher, always snatched in the low 80s, but his clean and jerk was second to, well, maybe just one. He also posted recently this video, a 225 kilo rack jerk, as well as a few other videos on his profile. So I would check it out. It's just at Bedzanian_David. Don't be waiting for a ton of videos, but when he posts them, they're heartwarming, they're gems. And David, good to have you back. Now, we've spoken a lot recently about Ritva Suharov's 81 kilo lifter from Latvia. He did the 200 kilo clean and jerk, the 190 clean front squat jerk, and now he just snatched 160 kilos in a national competition. That's just 2 kilos under his best from this Olympic qualifying period, the last 18 months. And then a video that he didn't post, but it was posted by ATG Insta, of course, one of the best in the game for posting footage and videos online, of a 207 kilo clean PR, which equals the world record. He didn't make the jerk, but considering he's still only 21 years old, that 207 is exceptionally exciting for the coming quad. I don't think he's quite going to be one of the guys who medals at the Olympics this year, but he could be one of the guys who medals at the Olympics in 24. Now, we don't always head up north this far, but this week we're going to go all the way up to Denmark for Amanda the Strong Panda, aka Amanda Nowakowski Poulsen, 64 kilo lifter, who hit some really big lifts this week. Now, I've been following her for quite a long time, and most recently she's been trying to increase her back squat, and finally she hit the PR that she's been after for a while, 155 kilos, and she just maintains such an incredibly upright position, very strong legs in that squat. She then went on to hit a clean and jerk PR2 of 108 kilos, and then a 85 kilo hang snatch. So she's in fantastic shape. She has competition PRs of 87, 107, and I guess will be making an appearance at the European Championships this year. This episode of the Weightlifting House News Show is brought to you by the Weightlifting House Barbell. You can pre-order yours now for an August arrival. These bars are available all over the USA and Europe. Grab yourselves a proper weightlifting barbell, 210,000 PSI steel, 10 needle bearings, hard chrome finish, IWF num. Over now to sunny Italy, we have 81 kilo Nino Pizzolato with a 190 kilo clean plus jerk attempt. And the reason I want to put this in, of course, it's an amazing lift. It's 12 kilos off his competition best of 202 from the 2015 Worlds as an 85. But more than that, it was just the number of attempts that he took to make this and the heart that he showed. He actually captioned in the video, "I can accept defeat, but I can't accept giving up trying." And you can really see that. He takes 4 attempts, cleans it, I guess 5 times altogether because he makes the final one. Clean, miss, clean, miss, clean, miss, clean, clean, jerk. Phenomenal athlete and incredibly exciting to watch. He hit 201 as an 81 in Batumi at the 2019 European Championships. He's in for a fight for an Olympic medal. Now, exciting news coming out of France. We have the retired weightlifter, Redon Manouchi, one of the greatest snatchers in Europe, one of the slowest snatchers of all time, at least in his pull. Now, Redon Manouchi is currently training at Power Camp 33 or Power Camp Weightlifting on Instagram. Phenomenal gym, big supporters of Weightlifting House. They sell the tape, they've got the flag, so big shout out to them. But Redon Manouchi just hit 170 kilos in the block snatch at 87 kilos. Now, he basically doesn't really even train for weightlifting anymore. I mean, his back squat, and this is some insider knowledge here, is just 205 kilos, which sounds like it can't be possible, but Redon Manouchi has always had really weak legs, but a phenomenal snatch. He's basically snatching as much as he can clean or front squat right now. So 170 in the block snatch. He hit 165 before this, and in a couple of weeks he's going to go for around 180, which is actually 1 kilo over the world standard. So they're going to send me the video for that, and we can excitedly wait to see Redon Manouchi pull on and get under the slowest 180 snatch of all time. From Great Britain this week, we have Jenny Tong, who hit some incredible hang snatches. 75 kilos for a double, 78 for one, 82 for one, and 85 for one. Now, Jenny is a 64 kilo weightlifter, I believe, who has had one of the most incredible starts in weightlifting. Her story is phenomenal. She got into the sport really late. She was abusing drugs, recreational drugs, from a young age. There's this incredible story written about her life up on the BBC that I'll link down below. But she really deserves some support. She has this incredible talent for weightlifting. She started late, and her story is going to continue on to be really remarkable. So really worth following Jenny Tong to see her absolutely smash some British records. You can follow her at JennyT811 on Instagram. Now, heading over the Atlantic Ocean to someone who's made the Weightlifting News Show for 3 weeks running now, from Canada, Bodhi Santavi, 96 kilo lifter, though of course he only actually weighs around 93, 94 right now. And he's done the remarkable again, 180 kilos in the snatch. That's 1 kilo under his best ever snatch that I filmed actually a few months ago, right before the world went into lockdown, 181. But this 180, 396 pounds for all you imperial pound using people out there. Now, for reference, the world record is 186, held by Sarab Moradi. Of course, Sarab did do 189 as a 94 kilo weightlifter at literally the final competition that he could have done before the weight classes changed to beat Kakishvili's 188 long-standing world record. But even so, this 180, Bodhi says that he wants the world record. He's been saying it for a while now, and he's only 6 kilos off doing it. 181, 187 to the world record. It's entirely possible. Moving down south, we have 89 kilo Jordan Cantrell with what I think is a PR, 210 kilos in the jerk. He says that he wants 215 kilos next. Bearing in mind the world standard is just 216 kilos, no one has yet set the world record in that weight class, but 210, nice PR for Jordan. Now let's check out the battle of the 81s, so really they're not both 81s anymore, but Mattie Rogers and Kate Nye. Mattie now up to 87 kilos because of course she wants to take her Rowdy points up to an Olympic category to try and get the Olympic spot. Kate now moved down to the 76 kilo class where she'll hopefully get an Olympic spot, or well, she certainly will get an Olympic spot there. This week Kate hit 115 kilos in the snatch balance. That is 3 kilos over her personal record in the snatch of 112 kilos. Of course she hit 112 at the World Championships last year where she got the 3 golds, gold in the snatch, gold in the clean and jerk, gold in the total. But really it was Mattie Rogers who looked the stronger of the two right now, which she should really, I suppose. She is heavier, but even so, she looks like she's in phenomenal shape. She hit what looked to be, I think, some PRs in the block lifts, as well as some really solid full lifts. 100 kilos really easily from the floor after a nice 95 kilo single. She then hit 120 for a 1+2 clean +2 jerks, which I think maybe the re-rack was the most impressive part of that, but really good lifting from her there. And then where things got really crazy, 107 kilos for a double from the blocks. Now, I'm fairly sure that her competition PR is 106 kilos. She's done it once at the 2016 trials for the Olympics, and then once again at the 2019 World Championships. If she has done it another time since, then let me know if she's done more, but I don't think she has. So that's more than her international PR for a double from blocks. She then went and hit 101 for a triple from blocks as well, which that's like her opener weight internationally, and she's doing that for 3 right now. So she really is looking great. Next we have a lifter who I was actually considering putting her in the people's lifts until I realized that she has competed internationally. She's done, I think it was the EGAT Cup last year. We have Kaitlin Cooper, 71 kilo lifter, who hit some phenomenal lifts. 103 kilos in the snatch for a single. That was a PR for her. That was hit after a 99 kilo double. And then recently, and I just saw this lift and it kind of matches Mattie's, but it's only for 1 rep, 107 kilos off blocks for the snatch. Of course, Mattie did it for a double, but even so, Kaitlin Cooper is weighing less. 107 kilos for her for a single off the blocks, 103 kilos from the floor. And finally, from the USA, we have 61 kilo Derrick Johnson, a man who has been lifting for probably longer than I've been alive. I mean, not quite true, I'm 27, but even so, 125 kilos in the snatch for him. That's over double body weight. He did it whilst training with his brother Daryl Barnes, who's also an ex-American record holder. Now, Derrick Johnson holds the American record in the snatch at 123, so this is 2 kilos over his American record unofficially. Tremendous lifting by him. Let's move down south to Venezuela with the most underrated 73 kilo lifter in the world, Julio Mayora. Also one of the nicest guys. I've had sort of slight chats with him before, or at least some small head nods at each other as I filmed him in awe. And now after Shizi Yong, Julio Mayora has actually hit the heaviest training lifts so far out of any other 73. This week he hit 170 kilos for a block snatch, which is 2 kilos over Shizi Yong's world record of 168. 170 in the block snatch. Recently he's done 205 in the block clean. He's jerked 205. And last week he actually hit 190 kilos for a really easy clean and jerk too. Now, Julio Mayora is the 2018 Pan Am Champs champion, the 2019 Pan Am Games champion. He hit 194 at those 2019 Pan Am Games for, that was a continental record and also a 355 kilo total. The world record total is 362 by Shizi Yong. I think this 355 is the second highest total, not including Shizi Yong's other totals. And our final lift, we have from New Zealand, again making the show, David Leety at David Leety1, posted by Strength HQ Weightlifting, a 240 kilo jerk from David Leety. David Leety, of course, the strongest man in the Oceanic region. Now, I asked him if this was a PR, but he reminded me, not quite sure how I forgot this, that he actually clean and jerked 240 kilos at the Commonwealth Games. But even so, 240 looking as easy as this, he's got a whole lot more in him. So go follow David Leety at David Leety1 on Instagram. And now, for the final part of the show, we have the People's Lifts. If you want to make the People's Lifts, just use the hashtag the People's Lifts or the hashtag weightliftinghouse. I'll surf them both online and I will choose whoever I deem to be worthy of the People's Lifts. And this week we're going to start off with Barbell Yoda, a guy I've been following for a long time. He hit some really impressive jerks this week, which is why I selected him. 145 for a triple. Now, that's a great set of jerks. There are people who do more. There are more people who do less. But even so, it's more impressive based on the fact that he just hit 145 kilos for a triple in the squat too. Of course, he can do more than that. But it looked incredibly tough, so just the efficiency that this guy has to be able to put it overhead for the same number of reps is really impressive. He did 112 kilos for a power jerk triple two, as well as a 115 kilo pull plus snatch from the blocks. I think his best snatch is right around 124. Next we have Derrick, aka Derrick Kinhalo, on Instagram with a 205 kilo front squat, but it looks exactly like 250 kilo front squat because he has those damn technique plates. Now he kind of posted this as a bit of a joke because of course it does look like 250, and he shouted out me and Lu Xiaojun barbell, so I really like that patrician weightlifting reference of Lu squatting with fake plates, the video that I uploaded a couple of weeks ago. Derrick also hit 202 kilos in the front squat for a 3-second eccentric, which is darn impressive. He hit some power PRs recently too at 127, 158. Posted it on Canada Day. I didn't know that was a thing, but happy Canada Day, Derrick. But guys, go follow Derrick because he's freakishly strong at Derrick Kinhalo. That is DerrickKinhalo. And whilst you're at it, go follow Barbell Yoda at Barbell Yoda. Next, from Clintonville Barbell, we have Danny, aka at Danny Lifts Heavy, and she just hit an enormous PR in the back squat, 159 kilos, that's 350 pounds. She's on the hunt for 405 pounds in the back squat, that's 184 kilos, and she has really been on a tear recently. She hit 140 kilos for a triple a couple of weeks ago. She is coached, of course, by the Weightlifting House head coach, the people scientist Joshua Gibson, so no wonder she's doing so well. But guys, go follow Danny at Danny Lifts Heavy, that's Danny with an I, Lifts Heavy on Instagram. Now, speaking of people who are coached by Joshua Gibson, you can also go and follow Joey Bowser. He's on the house program. Of course, you can get that at patreon.com/weightliftinghouse. He pause front squatted. Okay, so I'm going to go through this because his progression has been incredible in his leg strength on the house program. He pause front squatted 150. Then he went and made a 165 pause back squat. Then his back squat went up to a very quick 177. And then most recently, he just pause front squatted 161. So his front squat in the pause has gone up by 11 kilos. I told him that if he did a couple kilos more, he'd end up beating my front squat. So I think he's going to do that over the coming week too, if the house program allows it. But guys, go follow Joey Bowser at Joey Bowser. That's JoeyBalzer. And if you fancy hopping on to the house program, that's over at patreon.com/weightliftinghouse. And guys, that is everything for this week's episode of the Weightlifting House news show, the only weightlifting news show in the world. As a reminder, go grab yourselves a Weightlifting House barbell. The link is down below, and use discount code WLHouseSinglet for 20% off all virus singlets, or use discount code WeightliftingHouse for 10% off everything else. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Weightlifting House news show. I'll catch you all next week.